Welcome back to 7 Slow Minutes, where we slow down and look beneath the surface of things that the daily news never has time to explain. Today we're talking about something that quietly touches your life every single day. Every time you fill up your tank, buy groceries, or pay your electricity bill. It's called the petrodollar, an arrangement struck in diplomatic shadows over 50 years ago, and one that is still shaping your wallet right now. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is economic history and geopolitics, and once you understand it, you'll never look at a gas station price board the same way again. 1. A question that sounds silly, but isn't. Why is crude oil traded across the entire world, from wells in Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Venezuela, and Russia, exclusively in US dollars? Oil extracted in the Middle East, refined in Asia, sold to Europe. Yet the final invoice is always in US dollars. Why not euros, Japanese yen, or Chinese yuan? The answer has nothing to do with geography or engineering. It lies in a secret political agreement negotiated in 1974, right after the old global monetary system collapsed. 2. The background, when the dollar lost its anchor. To understand the petrodollar, you need to know what came before it. After World War II, the world operated under the Bretton Woods system. The US dollar was pegged to gold at $35 per ounce, and all other currencies were pegged to the dollar. The system created stability, but it had a fatal flaw. The US was spending far beyond its means, financing the Vietnam War and massive social programs, and printing money to cover the gap. By 1971, President Nixon announced that the US would no longer exchange dollars for gold. This move, known as the Nixon shock, dismantled Bretton Woods entirely. The US dollar was suddenly backed by nothing tangible. It was a serious crisis of monetary confidence. The urgent question became, what would keep the dollar valuable in the eyes of the world? 3. A deal made in diplomatic shadows. The answer came from a secret negotiation between the US and Saudi Arabia in 1974, 1 year after the OPEC oil crisis. The core of the agreement, though never formally published, can be summarized simply. Saudi Arabia agreed to sell its oil and persuade other OPEC members to do the same exclusively in US dollars. Surplus oil revenues would be recycled into US Treasury bonds. The US agreed to provide military security guarantees for the Saudi royal family, sell arms, and ensure the political stability of the regime. This was the moment the petrodollar system was born, and it has shaped the architecture of global finance ever since. 4. Why should this matter to you? The petrodollar system created a privilege that no other nation has ever enjoyed. Economists call it the exorbitant privilege, a phrase first coined by French finance minister Valéry Giscard d'Estaing to describe what he saw as America's unfair monetary advantage. Here is how it works in practice. Because the entire world needs dollars to buy oil, every nation is compelled to hold dollars in its foreign reserves. This creates an enormous, artificial global demand for US currency, independent of America's actual economic performance at any given moment. As a result, the US can borrow at lower interest rates than any other country on Earth, import cheap goods without worrying about currency depreciation, and run budget deficits for decades while the world continues buying its bonds. Put simply, the rest of the world has been subsidizing the American standard of living, involuntarily and largely without realizing it. 5. The cost and who pays it. Nothing is free in economics. For oil exporting nations, they are forced to absorb dollar risk. When the US prints more money and the dollar weakens, their oil revenues, still high in barrels, actually buy fewer goods on world markets. For developing economies, when the US raises interest rates and the dollar strengthens, foreign debts, mostly denominated in dollars, suddenly become far heavier to carry. This dynamic was a root cause of Latin America's debt crises in the 1980s, the Asian financial crisis of 1997, and Argentina's repeated collapses. For North American consumers, you enjoy cheaper imports, relatively lower borrowing costs, and a stable currency. But you also live inside an economy accustomed to chronic deficits and ever-rising national debt. The bill for this privilege is being pushed into the future. 6. Is the system starting to crack? This is arguably the most debated question in global economics and geopolitics right now. China is actively pushing yuan-denominated oil trade with Saudi Arabia and Russia. The BRICS nations are discussing the possibility of a common reserve currency. India has purchased Russian oil in rupees. But be cautious about sweeping declarations. Replacing the dollar as the world's reserve currency does not happen overnight. It requires a financial system with deep liquidity, transparency, and global trust, something no existing currency can fully provide in the short term. What is actually happening is better described as a slow multipolarization. The world is gradually becoming less dependent on a single currency, but there is no clear successor in sight. 7. What does this mean for you? Whether you live in Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, or anywhere in North America, the petrodollar system affects you in very practical ways. The price you pay at the pump is not just a reflection of oil supply and demand. It also reflects the strength of the dollar, the Fed's interest rate policy, and the geopolitical relationship between Washington and Riyadh. When the Fed raises rates and the dollar strengthens, oil prices often fall, because oil, priced in dollars, becomes more expensive for foreign buyers, reducing global demand. When the dollar weakens, the reverse is true. You are living inside a global financial architecture that most people never see, but it's there, every single day, in every single transaction. Further reading. If this episode sparked your curiosity, here are 4 reliable English language books to go deeper. The Dollar Trap, Eswar Prasad. Petrodollar Warfare, William R. Clark. The Ascent of Money, Neil Ferguson. Currency Wars, James Rickards. Thank you for slowing down with us today. We'll see you in the next episode, where we ask, why is it so hard for young people to buy a home, and who is actually responsible? 7 slow minutes.